Thank you, Dan. Good evening, everyone. Well, they did say only 12,000 are allowed in the Johan Cruyff Arena in southeast Amsterdam this evening. Certainly sounds like a fair few more. Plenty of pockets of orange and yellow from the Ukrainian supporters, with travel across Europe between various countries a little more relaxed than it is in and out of the UK right now, but quite cleverly as well. Most of the seats in the stadium orange as well, so it does look like a huge sea engulfing the wonderful sight that we can see on our monitors here. And we'll run you through the two teams. We'll start with the Dutch side, of course, a first competitive fixture in a major tournament for 7 years, so a huge night and a huge moment for Frank de Boer. Martin Stekelenburg is in goal, as we talked through already. A big call from Frank de Boer. Timber, De Vrij and Blind make up the back three. Dumfries and Van Aanholt are the two wing backs. De Roon, Wijnaldum and De Jong will be the central midfielders, with Weghorst and Depay leading the line for, in this instance, what would be the home side, of course. As for Ukraine, Pushkan is the keeper. Karavayev, Zabani, Matvienko, Mikolenko will complete the back line. Zinchenko, Sidorchik and Malinovsky in midfield, with Yarmolenko and Zubkov providing the support to Yaremchuk. Our referee this evening is the German Felix Britsch. We do have a couple of Brits on duty. They are in Switzerland as part of the VAR group, those being Lee Betts and Stuart Atwell. This may well help the Dutch tonight, being front of their home support. Of course, the last time they were in a major tournament, they finished third in the 2014 World Cup. So a return to the main stage once more. For the Ukrainians, it's their third European Championships. Of course, they were co-hosts back in 2012, qualified by rights in 2016, but they haven't actually won a game in the competition since they beat Sweden in Kiev back in 2012, and both goals on that occasion delivered by the man in charge, 44-year-old Andrei Shevchenko, a hero for Ukrainian football. It's going to be the Dutch that are going to get us underway, kicking from left to right as we look on, and they are all in orange, top to toe. No great surprise, it's all blue for the Ukrainian side, and the referee is decked in yellow as we prepare. The ball is on the spot. Alongside me is Matt Holland, of course, the former Republic of Ireland international, 49 caps for his country. This could be a cracking game. Looking forward to it. What a noise, what an atmosphere. You said there's 12,000 in the stadium. It sounds like 120,000. I'll tell you what, a real show of unity from the Dutch supporters as well. I've just seen some flags and scarves with the name of Christian Eriksen on them. That's absolutely fantastic to see. And we are underway with the Dutch kicking from left to right in the opening 45 minutes. The stadium, of course, only renamed a few years ago as the Johan Cruyff Arena. It's the home of Ajax, so will be familiar to so many. And a long ball forward from Stekelenburg immediately from inside his penalty area, looking to try and get it wide on this right hand side to Dumfries, but he's overhit that and it's gone into touch. Last competitive fixture for him back in 2016. A remarkable story. He's only got back in at the Ajax side, his first club where he's returned. Of course, he was at Everton previously, had some time at Fulham and Monaco and Southampton as well. He only got back in because the first choice keeper is on a doping ban, but he finds himself here playing in the opening game of the Euros. Ukraine on the attack down the right hand side in towards the edge of the penalty area. It's picked up by Yaremchuk out wide to the right with Yarmolenko, who gets an early ball in, comes back to Yaremchuk again. Opportunity here for Zubkov inside the penalty area, near the penalty spot. He's just forced back and outside. It's a bright start here as the ball goes wide once more. It's delivered by Mikolenko, and now the break is on with Depay up towards halfway. He's got decent pace. Depay still going here, has support down the right hand side. Depay though is going it alone, tries the shot, and it's a save low down to his right hand side by Pushkan. What a counter from the Dutch Matt Holland. It would have been one of the European Championship's greatest ever goals. What a run that was from Memphis Depay, from well inside his own half, ran 60 yards to the pitch, got his shot away, a decent save. Ukraine gave the ball away in midfield and the Dutch were able to capitalise. Had a chance themselves, Ukraine, at the other end, and Yarmolenko on that right hand side generally likes to cut in onto his left foot, get his shots away. We saw him take a touch, get it out of his feet and rip a crossing. Dangerous ball across that near post. Only 2 minutes on the clock. What a start to the game here in Amsterdam. And it's the Dutch who have possession on that left hand side, with De Jong back into the feet of Daley Blind. He's only 31 years of age, but you feel through his time at Manchester United he seems to have been gone a long time, and he feels almost a bit like the Peter Pan of football at only 31 years of age. It was a move that didn't really work out for him, as it didn't a few other of these Dutch players as well.
What a run that was from Memphis Depay. Seeing a replay now, he's got 4 men round him. He's able to put it through the legs of one of the defenders, took it onto his left foot. Decent shot.
He would have missed the tournament last year had it been held, of course, through a ligament injury. Here's Dumfries at the edge of the penalty area, but he's had the ball dispossessed off of him, and the break is on from Zubkov. Counter-attacking football all the way here now. Zinchenko through the centre circle, spreads it out wide to the right-hand side, where we find Yarmolenko again on that captain's armband. Goes to the byline, cuts it across the face of goal, and it has to be dealt with at the near post by Stefan de Vrij and put behind for the first corner of the game.
It's twice he's picked the ball up now on that right-hand side and gone on the outside and delivered across to the near post. It's almost like they're showing the line, showing him his right foot. Daley Blind overcompensating him, trying to stop him coming inside and get his shot away, saying go to the line, but they're leaving the space for him to deliver the ball into the box.
I'm not sure any West Ham fans listening will recognise this Andrei Yarmolenko that we're hearing in a blue Ukrainian shirt. The corner is on the right then for Ukraine, going to be swung in by the left foot. There's a run been made short to the near post, but it's gone to the back of the 6-yard box, and he was trying to pick out Yarmolenko. I think got the final touch, and it was just too much on it, knocked it behind, and had a play for a goal kick to the Dutch.
There's some start to the game, real tempo from both sides. Another effort on goal from Yarmolenko, a regular goal scorer for the Ukrainian national team. 40 goals he's got in the national shirt.
95th appearance tonight as well, chasing down that record held by Andrei Shevchenko. The Dutch have possession just inside their own half, and De Vrij out wide to that left-hand side. It's a decent ball as well. It's well kept in by Memphis Depay once more. He had to be brought down in the end, I think, by Kadavayev, but the ball was out for a throw anyway.
Someone I was talking about before the game about Memphis Depay, and he's centre forward, yes, but he's given licence to roam and get on the ball wherever he wants.
Blint with a little flick from Depay inside the penalty area. Wijnaldum at the edge of the box tries the shot, and it's blocked right in the centre of the D. Now it comes through inside the box. Weghorst to Depay. Wijnaldum helps it on. A chance on. He should have scored. Dumfries is closed down at the edge of the 6-yard box by Bushkan, who makes a terrific save to deny the PSV captain.
What a save. A feature of this opening 5 minutes has been the wing-backs actually for the Dutch. They've been very high. Van Aanholt on the left-hand side, Dumfries on this right-hand side. He's 6 yards out. He's in plenty of space. It's a fantastic ball to him from Wijnaldum. He should be scoring, but very quickly off his line, Bushkan, to make the save.
Well, Memphis Depay involved in everything. They describe him sometimes as misunderstood because of apparently a terrible dress sense and all those tattoos, but what a player he is for the Dutch right now, and he's taken a short corner, gets it back, delivered it across the box, edge of the penalty area. The original shot from Van Aanholt. There's appeals for handball, waved away by our German official, and the ball will break down all the way back to Stecklenburg midway inside the Dutch half.
I think that's one that VAR will have a look at. It definitely hit a hand, and it looked as though it was inside the box. He was probably 5 yards away from him, Patrick Van Aanholt. It came at him very quickly. I don't think he could do anything about it, but I think VAR will have a look.
Dutch have possession on halfway once more. What an opening 6 minutes we've had inside the Johan Cruyff Arena, live here on Talksport, but it remains Netherlands 0, Ukraine 0. In the second game of this group, of course, earlier today, a victory for Austria against North Macedonia by 3-1. And we talked about Yarmolenko and his West Ham connections. Marko Arnautovic on target for the Austrians today. And here's De Jong, right-footed ball laid forward down the right-hand side. De Vries has got forward again, and Vries just pulls that one back inside the penalty area, and the shot is over the bar from Gigi Wijnaldum for around 12 yards. The captain just arriving and just too much on it, not troubling Bushkan in the Ukrainian goal.
Well, 2 minutes ago we saw Wijnaldum set Dumfries up for a shot on goal. Roles reversed, Dumfries down the right-hand side, sets Wijnaldum up, coming onto it as he does, arrives so well from midfield, wasn't able to keep his shot on target.
What I will say is they're not that great on the replays for us to have a chance to see whether that was a handball or not, but VAR have obviously looked and decided that it wasn't.
I think it may have hit his hip before hitting the hand, which obviously means that it wasn't a handball.
Very experienced referee Felix Blitch, who's in charge. The Dutch have it on halfway, and it's the very calm and collective Jurrien Timber, and his third appearance in a Dutch shirt. Only made his club debut in March before making his international debut against Scotland, and here he is thrust into the opening game of the Euros.
Incredible, isn't it? And he does look calm and assured. This is the biggest crowd he's ever played in front of, but he looks really cool, not worried about the occasion.
It's his birthday on Thursday when they face Austria. That could be some celebration. Edge of the penalty area, Wijnaldum lines up another shot. They just stood off in the Ukrainian centre halves and allowed the PSG midfielder an opportunity, but again the shot was blocked.
It's been a great start from the Dutch, creating plenty of chances, playing at a real intensity. Ukraine on the back foot, having to do a lot of defending early on, but there is space on the counter for them, as we've seen already at the start of this game.
Well, the Dutch supporters that flew that plane over the training ground may want a 4-3-3 formation, but this formation, they've scored at least twice in all the matches in 2021. In fact, their last 7 in total, they've scored at least 2 goals in every game, and the way they've started this game, you can see why, Matt.
Yeah, you look at some of the personnel in the side and it suits them. Van Aanholt's very attacking down that left-hand side. He's got forward well. Dumfries on the right-hand side. Daley Blind looks better, I think, in a back 3 rather than a back 4. He does lack a bit of pace. We've got Wijnaldum, who's got the ability to get forward from that more advanced midfield position.
Pulled forward by Malinovsky. He's got the ball at his feet, charging into Dutch territory. Tries the shot from 25 yards on his left foot. It's easily blocked out, and immediately the Dutch will look to counter here. Wijnaldum has the ball just outside the centre circle. Feeds it to the left-hand side, where it's picked up by De Jong. Veghorst has gone on a run towards the edge of the penalty area, but the ball was poor, easily blocked out, and Ukraine will gather possession.
Well, it's a shame, actually. Wijnaldum just didn't see the run of Frenkie de Jong down that left-hand side early enough. By delaying it, it allowed Ukraine to get back into shape.
So a problem here for Alexander Zubkov, who's been down on his haunches. In fact, he's asking for the medic to come on, and the way he's limping, that could be his race run potentially. He's been at Ferencváros in Hungary for the last couple of seasons.
Doesn't look good for him, does it? He's getting his medical attention now. He's actually been on the back foot most of the game so far. He wants to get forward, but Dumfries has pinned him back, and he's done. He does look done. They've
not even bothered with him, and they've made the signal to Andrei Shevchenko, who's going to have to make his first change for Ukraine just 10 minutes into this game in Amsterdam, and that change will see the introduction of the man born in Brazil, Marlos, who's been playing his football at Shakhtar Donetsk for the last 7 years, and very successfully, with 4 league titles and 4 cups to his name. And it looks like he's going to enter the fray on this left-hand side to replace Zubkov.
Well, I think one of the reasons that he didn't start the game, Marlos, was because he's perhaps not brilliant defensively, and Zubkov would do that role a bit more efficiently, and he's going to have to, because Dumfries has been a real threat early on.
So Brazilian born, but got his citizenship to Ukraine in 2017, and has featured fairly often in the national setup, certainly in the squad, if not a completely regular starter. Stecklenburg with the ball at his feet, then away to the left-hand side. The game just seemed to have had a moment to breathe here. 11 minutes in, it's Euro game day on Talksport, and it's Netherlands 0, Ukraine 0. Adam Bridge and Matt Holland watching pictures from our studios in London, of course, due to the travel restrictions around COVID, but bringing you all the magic and colour of this wonderful tournament, and in particular what's been a terrific game so far. De Jong inside the centre circle on halfway, bringing it forward to Vrij, out to Van Aanholt on that far side. A surprise inclusion tonight. I thought Wijndal, who's featured in most of the warm-up games, would probably get the nod down that left-hand side, but maybe there's something there that De Boer feels he can exploit with the wing-backs, which we've seen to some success. Well, I say success, but there's been no goal, but so far they've had room and opportunities.
They certainly have. They were probably the 2 big calls, weren't they? I think Van Aanholt at left wing-back, and also Stecklenburg in goal.
The Dutch have it again around the edge of the penalty area. Wijnaldum had a terrific run in qualifying for this competition. It's taken a fair while to score some goals. Wijnaldum, he'd got 10 in his first 53 appearances, and then started knocking them in for fun, as he's done at times for Liverpool. Of course, he struggled at times when he was playing for Newcastle, but when he slipped into the red shirt, all of a sudden, particularly at home, the goals started to fly in. But now he's going to play his football next season in PSG, a real loss not only to Liverpool but to the Premier League as well. is De Vrij coming forward. Van Aanholt's on a run down the left-hand side. He tried to pick him out, but it was well read, and a chance to break here for Ukraine on that right-hand side. Yarmolenko on halfway, just tries to dink a ball with the outside of his left foot down the line, but it span out of play, and it'll be a throw-in on that far side. And I forgot for a moment, Ukraine was still down to 10 men.
Well, they were down to 10 men, and the Dutch had a lot of the ball and were pinning them back, and so much so that De Vrij stepped in from the back, Timber stepped in from the back. They left themselves a little short at the back on occasion there, the Dutch, and that's something that Ukraine will have to be aware of as well, that they've got the ability, if they can turn the ball over and get that first pass right, there is space in behind the Dutch.
If you've been out and about and busy today and may not know, England got off to a winning start live on Talksport earlier this afternoon, a 1-0 win against Croatia, courtesy of a goal from Raheem Sterling, his first in a major tournament. The Dutch on the attack here at the edge of the penalty area, but they were going to give a foul, I think, as it almost broke for Memphis Depay at the edge of the penalty area.
I'm not sure he was going to give that initially, Felix Bridge, but it was a foul from Depay, just leaning into the centre half. And there's a handball in there as well. Ronaldo's arms up, and it did hit him on the hands.
So far this weekend, an unbeaten start for the home nations, with Wales draw on Saturday. Let's see if Scotland can complete the set tomorrow afternoon. It's a 2 o'clock kickoff. We are live at Hampden. Jim White's in the chair, Chris Iwelumo and Alex Crook will take you through the game. Scotland against the Czech Republic. The game starts at 2, of course. We'll have the build-up for that game from 1 o'clock. Plus we'll be building up throughout the day here on Talksport. And that there is no doubt. 14 and a half minutes on the clock. And at this moment in time, Ukraine are being forced backwards, and it's all about the attacking options really of the Dutch at this moment. It's away by Pushkan, up over halfway towards Yarmolenko on that right-hand side, and he's closed down by Blind, and it goes out of play for what will be a throw on the far side for Ukraine.
He's been the Ukrainians' most dangerous player so far, Yarmolenko. And you feel as though he's got the beating of Daley Blind, especially with Van Aanholt pushing up. He is isolating himself against Blind 1v1.
Throw will be taken short into the feet of Yaremchuk, the leading scorer in qualification. And here he is inside the penalty area, tries to get a left-footed shot away, scuffs it a little, and it's quite comfortable after one bounce into the arms of Stecklenburg to his left-hand side.
Not seen an awful lot so far of Yaremchuk. A couple of times he's held the ball up well. That's the first time he's been able to have a sighter of goal.
23 goals he scored in the domestic competition for Ghent this season. This could really be a platform for him to maybe put himself in the shop window for one of the bigger clubs in Europe, which can so often happen at this tournament, can't
Definitely. We heard Andy Brassel talking about it actually before the game, saying we're in an age where obviously money might be tight at certain clubs, and he's not going to be a 70-80 million pound striker, so he might well be someone that clubs are looking at.
His record in internationals getting better. There's 4 goals in the 7 qualifiers that he played, and I think, as we were mentioning earlier, so many of this Ukrainian squad didn't actually play in the qualifiers. They've moved on. They had a pretty wretched 2020 football-wise, and Shevchenko's mixed it up a little and has tried to find some new faces. Plus, they do have a terrific crop of youngsters coming through. They're under pressure here. Depay was in there again, and in fact it was one of those youngsters that was fouled on this occasion. Ilya Zabani, the 18-year-old centre-half, described as the best young talent in Ukraine. It was an offside flag in the end against Depay, but again he's another who's worked his way into this side.
Yeah, cool and composed, isn't he? Depay was offside. I tell you, it was a lovely ball into him from Dumfries.
And quite impressive, Dumfries. When you consider 7 years ago he wasn't actually a professional footballer. Down the right-hand side, it's Yarmolenko again. He's about 30 yards out from goal, working it onto his left foot, then tries to go down that far touchline. Van Aanholt watching him all the way. Yarmolenko then decides he'll go back inside in field, and he picks up Marlos, who switches play out to the left. That's a decent ball. Now a chance to attack down this left-hand side. Michaelenko, and he's got the beating this time of Dumfries. Opportunity to cross, drills it across the penalty area, around the penalty spot, and not really an opportunity to get anything away on goal then from Yaremchuk, and it's out of play for a throw to the Dutch on the far side.
Now one of the few occasions we've seen a Ukrainian fullback get into an advanced position. Marlos, interestingly, he's just drifting from that left-hand side, which is leaving a bit of space actually for Michaelenko to get forward.
So Michaelenko's one of those who spent his time playing in the Ukrainian league. And he's done very well at it, former ball boy as well, Dynamo Kiev. His club he stayed at, and here he is representing his country with pride at his first European Championship. Stecklenburg off the deck, out to the right hand side. Dumfries, what you would expect really from the Dutch, to be playing it out from the back. Dumfries will take the throw from probably about 3 or 4 yards outside his own penalty area. We've had almost 18 minutes. It's Netherlands 0, Ukraine 0. It's Euro Game Day on Talksport. It's once more with Timber at the edge of the Dutch penalty area. De Jong drops in to pick up possession. And Frankie de Jong will then charge forward. He's tracked all the way by Yaremchuk, who maybe went in a little bit late with a challenge after he'd already offloaded the ball to Daley Blind. And he wasn't too happy about it, but the referee allowed play to continue.
He gave him a little high five though, and he was okay with it afterwards. He was just a little look around though, as if to say, why on earth you make that challenge? You're never going to get the ball.
Wijnaldum is shadowed on halfway and has to go all the way back to Stecklenburg, away to our left-hand side. The Dutch qualified second in that group behind Germany. It was a fairly impressive performance. Wijnaldum with 8 of the goals, Depay with 6 of them as well. Not started so well in qualifying for the World Cup. They're second in Group G at the moment behind Turkey, but level on points with Norway and Montenegro. They did suffer a 4-2 defeat at the hands of Turkey to start that campaign, but since then they've been unbeaten, and they bring a little bit of confidence in here. A really good game against Scotland as well, a really impressive 2-2 draw, and a creditable performance from the Scots that night as well, to be fair. Here are Ukraine in possession with Zinchenko. We've not seen too much of him on the ball so far. He spins the ball infield to Malinovsky, who can really be that playmaker for Ukraine. Here's Yarmolenko. Malinovsky again has got the ball at feet. A terrific season with Atalanta, and he's fouled there. Is he? No, says the referee. He was tracked all the way by Van Aanholt, and the referee says no foul in the process.
It looks as though he went down to ground pretty easily, looking for a free kick. Yarmolenko a couple of times now, he's picked the ball up, come inside, looked to play a 1-2. He hasn't actually got the ball back yet, but he's made some good runs actually in behind the Dutch defence.
Of course, this was one of the first stadiums with a sliding roof. They've not bothered with that today. It's been a very glorious day in Amsterdam, about 20 degrees as it heads into the evening. Really nice temperature to play football in.
I arrived at this stadium on this day 6 years ago after my ride for prostate cancer for Talksport. That came up on my feed today.
An uncanny moment, of course, on this day. That's quite extraordinary. Depay has possession, gets the ball in towards the feet this time of Vergust, and now it's Depay with a little flick towards Wijnaldum at the edge of the D, but it's blocked out and cleared away on this occasion by Matvienko. The Dutch still have it on that far side. It really is a stunning stadium, isn't it?
Beautiful, really is a fantastic stadium. Good atmosphere as well, great noise.
I bet you were pleased to see it as well after you'd cycled all that far too.
I was ready to see a pint, that's for sure.
I didn't think you were allowed to drink and cycle, but...
No, that's after the ride had finished. It was London to Amsterdam, so we finished in Amsterdam.
Oh, that's perfectly acceptable then. And in Amsterdam, ball with the Brazilian on this near side. Marlos, decent ball now, a chance for Yarmolenko. Now he's got some support in the middle here, towards the edge of the penalty area. Yarmolenko on his right foot on, he's just not committed and gone backwards. They've still got an opportunity here for a shot from the edge of the box, potentially, as it's tried to be worked by Malinovsky, but they've wasted the opportunity, and the Dutch maybe can break.
Well, it's 3v3 for a moment. It's great work by Frankie de Jong, because he got back in support of Daley Blind.
Here's Depay down the left-hand side for the Dutch, towards the edge of the penalty area, inside the box. Depay still going. A really good tackle at the edge of the penalty area to deny him, but the Dutch have it back on halfway once more. And here they come down the left-hand side with Van Aanholt. Here's de Jong, 25 yards from goal, just to the left-hand side of the area, into the feet of Depay, turns, wiggles his way through. Van Aanholt's appeared there from absolutely nowhere and almost latched onto the loose ball, and is put out on the far side for a Ukrainian throw.
Well, the last touch was a Ukrainian one, because you're looking at it, he's probably 5 yards in advance of that Ukrainian defence, but the last touch actually came from the Ukrainian players who would have been on.
A cracking game this is, and we're at the midway point of the first half. But it's still Netherlands 0, Ukraine 0. And what we're just starting to see is that on the counter, and certainly the introduction although it wasn't probably what they wanted of Marlos, he's just made a couple of lovely passes to set some opportunities up.
Yeah, they have, and what they've done actually is kept Marlos and Yarmolenko higher up the pitch and said don't necessarily come back and defend as much. They're leaving the three up top because they know that the Dutch are pushing their wing backs on, so there is space if they can get that first pass right.
He wanted a foul. We've just been shown a replay on our monitors here of that challenge by Van Aanholt on Malinovsky, but it didn't seem to be too much in it for me. They were fairly side by side. It's the sort, if that had been given against you, Matt, you'd have been furious.
Oh, I wouldn't have been happy, that's for sure.
It's the voice of Matt Holland, of course, capped 49 times for the Republic of Ireland, captained the side as well. Appeared at a World Cup with them too. He knows all about championship football and what it takes when you're in those groups. Here's Yarmolenko. For most of this Ukrainian side, this is a new experience, a major championship. And a record at these is, as we mentioned, not the best. Won that first ever game at the finals, none since. Lost all 5 of them. The worst run of losses in Euro history is the old Yugoslavia. That was between 68 and 84. They don't want to equal that tonight for sure. That's cleared away from the edge of the box. And that's what they'll do if they do lose, by the way. Ukraine on the attack, on the far side. Marlos, short to Yarmolenko. Lovely feet from the Brazilian. And the West Ham winger exchange passes, and it's back on halfway. Inside the centre circle. On to Zinchenko. On this left-hand side, Zinchenko again. Oh, he's done well. Got away from De Roon, who's almost been bypassed in this game so far for the Dutch. Marlos, the Brazilian, towards the edge of the penalty area. Looks to cut in on that left foot of his. He does, but he just couldn't get the pass through. It took a deflection, and Malinovsky was there to try and win it back, and he's fighting hard with his opposite number, Wijnaldum, and in the end, the foul comes in. And it will be a free kick for the Dutch midway inside their own half, and they've taken it quickly here with De Jong as they like to get an advantage. One of the Ukrainian players has gone down. Cayman Weghorst, I think, has elbowed him in the face. We shall see. De Jong will get it across the box towards Dumfries, who's arrived at the back stick about 8 yards out, but couldn't reach him. And it'll be easily cleared here for Ukraine by Mykolenko, but he's given it away immediately.
I tell you, we haven't got time for a breather here. It really is relentless. It's such a frantic start to the game.
Wijnaldum, lovely little layoff from Depay. Back to the Dutch skipper again. Netherlands on the attack down the right-hand side. Dumfries gets it back to De Roon, who I mentioned earlier has been fairly quiet in this game so far. Not too much has gone through the middle. It's all going out to those 2 flanks.
Yeah, it is. The 2 wing backs are the threat so far. Depay as well. When he drops into deeper positions, he's so difficult to pick up.
Well, Dumfries, lovely ball across the penalty area, all along the ground to the edge of the 6-yard box, but no one there to get a touch on it. And it comes out on the far side, and Ukraine can clear.
Oh, again, out on that right-hand side. He's excellent so far, Dumfries. Lovely ball into the box. No one able to get on the end of it.
Well, that's hit the referee. And there's fury from all of the Dutch because they were in a good position at the edge of the penalty area. But that's the rule. If it hits the referee, I was saying that I did see in a game yesterday, hit the referee and he waved play on. That's a new one on me. But if they've got possession, I think it's allowed.
I think that's what it was. I think it's because they still had possession.
There's a towering header that came in from De Vrij that actually hit the referee. And that was the reason for the fury, I think, from the Dutch. And a replay here of an outstretched right arm, but from Weghorst, but there's nothing in that, is there, Matt?
Nothing in that either. I'll tell you what, the Dutch have started this game well. There's been a lot of good individual performances. Frankie de Jong's another one who's impressed me so far. He's always available, always wants the ball on the half turn, looking to play forward.
So ball in from Timber towards the edge of the penalty area to Depay. A chance here for Weghorst, and he's just had it taken off his toes that time by Bushkan, who does brilliantly well. Again, more intricate play from the Dutch, and on that occasion Timber, the centre-half, was up at the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, Bushkan off his line very quickly again to smother the ball and win possession back for his side. But that's another feature of this Dutch side, is that the centre-halves are getting forward, and actually Timber in particular steps into midfield, and it's no problem for him.
There's a chance here for Yaremchuk. Oh, and to Yarmolenko inside the box, goes down. Really good tackle from Van Aanholt. Immediately waves his hand. Yarmolenko is sat on the floor thinking, well, surely But firm decision from the referee, and I think a right one.
Well, he was in a great position to see this. It's fabulous play. Great link-up. Yaremchuk with the back heel into the path of Yarmolenko. Van Aanholt gives the referee a decision to make by going to ground.
Well, also with everything, I'm sure it's been checked. And players continued. Here's De Jong, who's popped up out on this right-hand side for the Dutch, midway inside the Ukraine half.
He's been everywhere, Frankie De Jong. As I say, he always wants the ball. He's looking to get it in space all the time.
28 minutes played, 0-0 still. Wijnaldum on to Depay inside the penalty area. It's a delicate little chip, and Depay couldn't quite bring it down to get a shot away. But again, Ukraine can only get it clear about 15-20 yards, and there's a wall of orange to greet them. And Wijnaldum is usually the leader of that. Here he is again, spins past 1 and 2 into Depay, helps it on to Weghorst, not quite to Wijnaldum, and he's been flattened there, I think, as Depay, the referee says play on. Out it comes to De Vries, who just tries to drive it across the penalty area, but again there's a deflection and easily cleared, and the Dutch will come again. Ukraine can't get out their half at the moment. Early ball in from Blind. De Vries will head it up in the air, and it will be brought clear this time on this left-hand side, and away by Michaelenko, who's done well. Just squares the ball up into centre field, where he manages to pick up Malinovsky. Cuts across the centre circle. Malinovsky just takes his time to build here for Ukraine. Zinchenko just short of halfway. I wonder if he's over the heartbreak of that Champions League final defeat to Chelsea yet. Zinchenko short to Marlos. Just taking their time now, Ukraine. 29 minutes played. Just taking a little bit of the sting out of the game, and they've been under pressure for the last 10 minutes or so this is no surprise.
No, they need a breather, because it's been all the Dutch. They have been very impressive.
Well, here come Ukraine again. Yarmolenko out wide on the right-hand side. Kadavayev on the overlap inside the penalty area, still going, gets it across to Marlos, tees it up for Zinchenko, edge of the box. We know he's got a shot on him, Zinchenko just holds the ball with his feet, closed down by 2. Marlos gets it wide now to Zinchenko, who's continued his run, edge of the box. It's back to the substitute Marlos again, who gets it square, and now on to Yarmolenko on his left foot, chance to shoot. Oh, he goes inside. Yarmolenko with a right-footed effort in the end from just inside the box, and it's straight at Stekelenburg, who immediately bolted out to Depay, who on that far side, and he's fouled. Does he know it? The referee says no, play on. Ukraine have it again.
Such an intriguing match-up this. Half an hour into the game, the Dutch are dominating the ball. The 2 wing-backs have caused all sorts of problems. Depay's been a threat. Every time they've gone forward, they've looked like causing Ukraine problems, but on the flip side is that when they lose it, they look pretty open, and Yarmolenko's had a lot of space.
It's a magnificent game so far. All we need now is a goal. Yaremchuk has put that ball out of play, and it will be a throw-in right by the corner flag for the Dutch. Yarmolenko looks like he's putting a shift already in this opening half an hour. Really clever to cut onto his right foot, but I think everyone knows that's the weaker foot anyway.
Exactly, yeah. You're trying to stop that left foot, because cutting in from that right-hand side, don't open the goal. Don't let him get his shot away, because he's got real quality.
3 terrific live games for you tomorrow. Reminder, every game from the Euros is live across the Talksport network. Scotland against the Czech Republic, that kicks off at 2 tomorrow afternoon, live here on Talksport. At 5 it's Poland against Slovakia, over on our sister station Talksport 2, and of course Spain against Sweden tomorrow night. There's a belter for you, and that's going to be live here on Talksport 2. Matt will be in the company of Jim Proud for that one as well, and that's your late kick-off tomorrow. Here we've had 31 minutes, Netherlands 0, Ukraine 0, Euro game day on Talksport. Up towards De Vries on this near side. De Roon will lift that high in the air towards the edge of the Ukrainian penalty area, where it's headed away this time, and headed away well by Zabani, only though as far as Wijnaldum, and that sea of orange to pen the Ukrainian blue shirts back inside their own half is there once more. Blind just trying to tease a way through into the feet of Weghorst, who can't hold that ball up well this time, and Ukraine will try and break, but again it's going to be a throw-in to the Dutch on that far side. Unless it's on a quick counter, Ukraine find it really hard to get out of that half.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Shevchenko ideally would like his team to be 4-3-3. The trouble is, Dutch having a lot of the ball, and it's more like 4-5-1. But there is occasions when, as I say, Marlos and Yarmolenko are left up the pitch. They're a bit more brave, and they try and get that counter.
Depay lifts the ball in. Dumfries is arriving at the back post, but just too much on it. The spin takes it out of play, and it will be a goal kick for Ukraine away to our right-hand side. They face North Macedonia next on Thursday. The Dutch will take on Austria, and there's a real opportunity for both of these teams to get out of this group with the 3 qualifying from 4 of the 6 groups. There is a massive opportunity. I think they'll be keen to try and take. Here come Ukraine down this left-hand side. Just how far the Dutch can go, well, that's a slightly different question. Perhaps a little too open to be real contenders, but I think they may entertain us on the way.
Well, they're going to be good to watch. They've been very attacking so far.
12 minutes to go to half-time in Amsterdam. Alan Bridge and Matt Holland with you on Talksport. Marlos out wide on this left-hand side, short to Zinchenko. Marlos, of course, if you have just joined us, wasn't in the starting 11. Zubkov picking up an early injury. And Marlos was the player chosen by Andrei Shevchenko, the Ukrainian coach, who's usually in a cap, but for a major tournament he's all blazered up down there and hair showing off in, well, I would say a breeze, but there is no breeze in Amsterdam tonight. It's a sultry evening, and it's going to be a throw on that far side for the Dutch, about 10 yards short of halfway. I wonder how long they can keep this tempo up. We saw earlier today a really kind of impressive 20 minutes from England in the heat, although it was a good 12-13 degrees more at Wembley in that early sunshine, and they just had to take their foot off the gas a little there as well, and it was no great surprise. But they did come out victorious in the other game earlier today in this group. Austria victorious by 3-1 over North Macedonia. Final 10.5 minutes of the first half, still goalless in Amsterdam. Here's Patrick van Arnholt, not too sure where he's going to be heading. I guess not many decisions can be made about that, his Crystal Palace future, until they have a new manager, and I'm not too sure when that's going to happen. I'm seeing that looks like Nuno Espirito Santo may be on his way to Everton. That's close to being concluded, so that will knock another name out the frame and another vacancy for everyone to be linked to. And that's a good play in the middle of the park from De Jong. He's been excellent in this first half, winning the ball back there. He's got Dumfries outside him here. Dumfries across the edge of the 6-yard box, but again, can make clean connection on the cross, and it's easily cleared.
Brilliant again from De Jong. First of all, winning the ball back, then his weight of pass as well from Dumfries on that right-hand side.
Ball towards the edge of the penalty area again, towards Depay. Has to be cleared this time by Zabani. Coming back to him though, and this one he heads up into the air, and it'll be picked up early by Weghorst, who does really well to win it, and then tries to turn it back round into the danger zone, but it's blocked out by Matvienko, and it'll be a corner to the Dutch on the left-hand side.
Yeah, something that the manager said, the Dutch manager said in these pre-match conference was something about, we're not 5-3-2, we're 3-5-2. I don't want 5 defenders, I want 3 defenders, and it's definitely been that case, hasn't it, with the 2 wing-backs high up.
Edge of the penalty area, chance to shoot here on the left foot for Van Arnholt. They work the corner short. He's put it well over the top of the crossbar. They record, of course, failing to progress from the group in 2012. They actually ended up losing to Portugal, Germany and Denmark in that tournament. It came as a real shock to the Dutch, and it was the beginning really of, well, a bit of a fall in the Euros. They still continued to deliver, of course, 2 years later in 2014 at the World Cup, but since then it all went a little bit wrong. Ruud van Nistelrooy is one of the assistants here for De Boer. The foul there, I think Juramchuk was offside for Ukraine, and it will be a free kick to the Dutch, and the referee being fairly finicky about where this free kick is taken. They're only going to knock it short anyway. I'm not too sure why he's that bothered.
Well, it's only about 3 or 4 yards deeper than where Gini Wijnaldum was trying to take it from, and the tempo's been relentless. Just let the game flow. It's been such a good watch.
Who says you need goals to be able to enjoy the excitement of some terrific football? It's 0-0. but a cracking game. De Roon out to the left-hand side. Daley Blind is pushing on here. Van Aanholt is hugging the far touchline, but he goes short to De Roon again. Of course, relegated in the Karanka days at Middlesbrough before making his way off to Atalanta, where he's been so impressive in the performances of Atalanta. Of course, third in Serie A again this season. And here is Timber inside the centre circle, assured from him, but he's not really had that much actual one-on-one defending to do so far. Van Aanholt on that left-hand touchline. The Dutch just playing here midway inside the Ukrainian half. Into De Jong. He was under pressure from Marlos immediately. Lays it off to Timber, and everyone is concertinaed inside the Ukrainian half. Blind coming forward towards the edge of the box. Weghorst does well, holds off the challenge, and then it's out wide to Van Aanholt. Back into Depay, 25 yards out from goal. Chips it on to De Jong, had made the run. Comes to the edge of the box, Wijnaldum. Oh, terrific one-handed save. He hit it on the volley from the edge of the box, and it was a terrific stop from Bushkan, who seemed to be going the wrong way. And the ball goes out of play on this near side. It'll be a throw to the Dutch, level with the penalty spot.
What a save. Absolutely outstanding. Wijnaldum caught this sweetly, right on the edge of the box. He must have seen that late, Bushkan. He stuck up a left hand and kept it out. He managed to get the rebound away as well.
Very impressive from the keeper from Dynamo Kiev. Been there since his youth days. It's only his 7th appearance for his nation at the start of this Euros campaign, and already he's made a couple of terrific stops. Throw taken short by De Vries. Gets it to Wijnaldum, who gives it back to him, delivers a dangerous ball into the box again. Yarmolenko with a half-hearted clearance from the edge of the area. He gives it back to the Dutch immediately, and to De Jong. The run being made by Van Aanholt then. Depay wants it out wide to the left-hand side, and he gets it level with the edge of the penalty area. Depay's got the ball at feet, and he whips the ball towards that back post. There's a free header, and Dumfries from 3 yards out has inexplicably put it wide.
Well, I can't believe what I've just seen. We've seen some good chances, none better than this. 6 yards out, goalkeeper to beat, just needs to go back across him. He catches it on the side of his head and gets it out all wrong. Seen a replay of the Wijnaldum chance. It took a deflection, which made it even more difficult for Bushkan. That really was a good save, but he should have been beaten by De Vries. Moments later, fabulous ball across on his own, 6 yards out, heads it wide.
I think initially he had the shot from Wijnaldum covered. The deflection was why he needed to stick that hand out, but what a stop. Oof, what a game. 40 minutes played on Talksport. Netherlands 0, Ukraine 0 somehow. I'm not sure how. Terrible miss by De Vries. Yet to score for the Dutch. Should have made it 1 there in his 20th cap. Ball picked up in the middle of midfield by Malinovsky. When he's on the ball he's dangerous, but he's not seeing enough of it for Ukraine, but he's got it back here at the second attempt on halfway. Now we'll try to open it up for Zinchenko. Zinchenko's got support arriving down the left-hand side by Michaelenko, but instead he goes back and put the ball into Malinovsky, who then just tried to disguise a shot as a through ball, but he disguised it so well none of his attackers noticed either.
No, exactly. Yaremchuk was expecting to go for goal, wasn't expecting the pass. I'll tell you what, both teams have contributed to a terrific first half. Dutch have been the better side. They've had more possession, created some really good chances, and Ukraine, yes, they've been on the back foot, but I'll tell you what, they've had a few chances themselves as well. They've carried a threat. It's not like they've been sitting back and not able to get forward.
It's been a terrific game. I enjoyed the Italy game on Friday night, but in terms of entertainment and footballing and chances, this is I think the best of the tournament so far, but it remains 0-0 into the final 4 minutes. Game day, Euros game day on Talksport, and it's on halfway, as it has been so many times with Daley Blind from the Netherlands. Out wide to that left-hand side, cut infield by De Jong. De Roon gives it short back to De Jong again, and here's the tormentor-in-chief, Memphis Depay. If he's not scoring, he's creating, and so far he's created several opportunities that they've just failed to take. De Roon again has it out this wide on this right-hand side. Zinchenko just tracks him all the way and follows him, and then a follow-up challenge from Marlos is good. It's out of play though, and the Dutch will have the throw, which is taken quickly to Timber. Now, another opportunity here for De Roon this time to deliver. Right footed curling ball towards Depay, headed away, and it comes out as far as Van Aanholt. Depay goes down in the box. The challenge from Zabani, who had got the initial header away as well. I think Depay wanted something, but the referee rightly not interested.
You have to be careful with that though, because Depay just trying to get his body in between the man and the ball, just trying to drop his shoulder away from him.
It would have been interesting to see them at this tournament had it taken place last year without Depay, who tore his cruciates, because he is the absolute playmaker and making things tick here for the Dutch. He's an outlet, he's creative, and could be in a real attacking force in this competition. In fact, he could be one of the attacking players of the tournament if he continues in this vein. De Vrij is up as well. Everybody's within, not even the whole of the Ukrainian half. They're within the last half of the Ukrainian half. They're just concertinaed into about 35 yards, and they've won a corner here, and there he is, Depay, just raising his arms to get the Dutch support behind that goal on their feet.
I tell you, he picked the ball up again there inside the box. A wonderful ball from Daley Blind into him, 20 yards from the angle into his feet. Ukraine were able to recover.
Depay delivers. Oh, he's drilled that one across. Zinchenko with a header away at the edge of the 6-yard box, up towards halfway. We are into the final 90 seconds of the first half here on Talksport. 0-0 between Netherlands and Ukraine. Somehow, Blind on that left-hand side. You're not sure how, are you?
I'm not sure how. I'll tell you what a first half. It's absolutely flown by. I can't believe we're that close to half-time.
It's a terrific game. I'm watching from our monitors here in London, of course, because of travel restrictions around COVID, but wow, not missing any of the atmosphere and the joy from inside that Johan Cruyff Arena. Really is something special. Final minute and a half then, still 0-0, and well, I think if you're Andrei Shevchenko, you're probably going at half-time and are absolutely astonished that it's still 0-0.
You'd be
quite pleased with the way you've played on the counter.
Yeah, I think he'd be relatively pleased. He won't be happy with the amount of space that the two wing-backs have had. I think that's something he'll have to try and nail down. Whether it means him changing his system, I know he's played a back three himself, he's experimented with that.
Against France, they did really well.
Exactly, it might be something he looks at half-time.
They're on the attack here. Marlos down the right-hand side. Yarmolenko's gone outside him. Yaremchuk's there. Back heel into Yarmolenko. Skips through one challenge. Oh, and the keeper has to make the save. And it's Stekelenburg. And the final touch came off Yarmolenko, according to the referee. And it will be a goal kick for the Dutch.
There's been some really good combinations going forward for Ukraine. And especially down that right-hand side. And Marlos, he's out on the left, but he doesn't stay there. He drifts all over the pitch. He finds himself on the right a lot. Yarmolenko and Yaremchuk combining again. Those three players are really causing one or two problems for the Dutch.
A minute added by the referee. And Ukraine have it again down this left-hand side. Here's Zinchenko pushing it to the right-hand side, where he picks out the advancing Kadavayev. Slips the ball to Yaremchuk. Yarmolenko's there. They are now about 10 or 15 yards outside the Dutch penalty area. Here's Yarmolenko again, just turning and twisting, trying to get away, but Depay then sends a foot in. He's forced back inside his own half there, Yarmolenko. Always much better when he's on the front foot, for sure. And I think at this point, Pushkan just takes his time to have the ball at his feet and try and set Ukraine off again. And that's because the referee's going to intervene there and blow the whistle as the Dutch have it on halfway. Well, a thoroughly entertaining opening 45 minutes in the Johan Cruyff Arena somehow. And, well, the only person you can really ask is Denzel Dumfries as to how on earth he missed that header from around 6 yards out. The opportunity, some terrific saves, particularly from Georgi Pushkan. And at half-time in Amsterdam, it's somehow the Netherlands 0, Ukraine 0. Thank you, Dan. The Netherlands had 10 shots in that first half without scoring. All four teams so far in this Euros that have had 10 shots in the first half of a game have failed to score. Italy, Switzerland as well amongst those. So it seems to be you can be dominant in the opening 45 minutes, but no one seems to be able to find the back of the net so far. We are off and running at the start of this second half, and no surprise the Dutch are on the attack again. Depay back to Wijnaldum, who's about 35 yards out from goal. I will run you through the two teams as they stand in a moment, but the Dutch still have possession inside the Ukrainian half, giving it short to Timber, and De Roon is back inside his own territory now, where the ball is picked up by De Vrij and Daley Blind, and they will look to come forward. They're playing from right to left at the start of this second half in the Johan Cruyff Arena, all in orange, whereas Ukraine are all in blue, and inside the centre circle is De Vrij again, who of course has had a terrific season with Inter, winning the title. He'll have a new manager to deal with when he gets back, of course, after the tournament and after the summer break. Let's run you through the two teams then. Stekelenburg's in goal for the Dutch. It's Timber, De Vrij and Blind across the back. Dumfries and Van Aanholt, the two wing backs. De Roon, Wijnaldum and De Jong in the centre of midfield, with Weghorst and Depay leading the line. We've got one change in the Ukrainian side from the starting lineup, of course. Bushkan is the keeper, and very good first half he had. Karavayev, Zabani, Matvienko and Michaelenko across the back. We've got Sidorchuk, Zinchenko and Malinovsky in midfield, Yarmolenko on the right, and Marlos, who came on in the first half to replace Subkov on the left-hand side, and Yaremchuk is leading the line for them. And the ball is out of play for what will be a goal kick to Ukraine at the start of this second half. Matt Holland's alongside me.
I did wonder whether Shevchenko may have done something at half-time to alter the tactics because of the Dutch dominance and the amount of chances that they created. He hasn't done. He's stuck with that back four. The two wing-backs caused them a lot of problems in that first half, and they're going to have to do a better job of trying to negate that threat.
Just, of course, a mere 12,000 inside this massive arena in Amsterdam, but the noise they made at times in the first half, it was electrifying. This what is in essence a home tie for the Dutch in their first fixture in a major competition for 7 years, of course, following that third place finish at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Here is Marlos, the first half substitute, in possession, finds Zinchenko. Well, happy to play the ball around here, Ukraine, and then they lose possession at the edge of the Dutch penalty area. That's a ball through to Wijnaldum, but there's too much on it, and there's going to be some defending to be done here by Matvienko. He gives it back to Bushkan, who has to clear from the edge of his own 6-yard box, only as far as De Roon. Down that right-hand touchline, he finds Wijnaldum. Infield this time to Timber. Timber's got support ahead of him from De Jong, but he brings Daley Blind into play, 10 yards inside the Ukrainian half. Blind with the ball at feet. Former Manchester United man, of course. Back inside the centre circle, though, with De Vrij. And they're pressing a little more, Ukraine, and not allowing the Dutch to settle with that possession on halfway. De Jong gets involved. De Roon now on that right-hand touchline, wanting possession once more is Dumfries, but it's with De Jong. Infield to De Roon. De Roon up to the feet this time of Van Aanholt, who cut across. And out wide on the left-hand side, taking his place, is Memphis Depay, who's on a charge, but he's held up at the edge of the penalty area. And there's just a late foot left in there, and a free kick to Ukraine by Weghorst, the player, and it's a free kick at the edge of their own penalty area.
I think that almost highlights the Dutch dominance, with Patrick Van Aanholt almost as a centre forward. Yes, the player drifted out to the left-hand side, but Van Aanholt sort of switched positions with Depay, was trying to hold the ball up and bring his teammates into the game. But that just really goes to show how much dominance the Dutch have had.
No surprise really that Ukraine failed to score in the first half. They failed to score in all 5 of the games in which they've lost following their debut game in the Euros back in 2012. It's the longest run of no goals in the competition's history. They'll look to put that right and not make it a 6th game today. And they had some opportunities. Never really worked Stekelenburg too hard though. Here's De Jong on this left-hand side for the Netherlands. Forward he goes towards the edge of the penalty area, picked up by Depay, back to De Jong. He's floated that one in towards Dumfries at the far side, who couldn't quite get there with the first header. And I think Weghorst again has maybe clipped the keeper here. Good defending though, and Dumfries unable to get a shot on target.
Yeah, I'll give a bit of credit actually to Marlos. I don't think he's the best defender, but he was switched on enough to get back and make a challenge with De Vries on this occasion. De Vries has had so much space on that right-hand side because Marlos doesn't really want to defend, but this time he did track him all the way.
May have identified the issue with the Dutch here. The surnames of the last 4 Dutch goal scorers at the European Championship all started with Van. So maybe it's going to be Van Aanholt's night, because he'll be following up, of course, from Van Persie, Van Nistelrooy, Van der Vaart and Van Persie again. So maybe it will be Van Aanholt who's going to deliver for the Dutch tonight.
Well, he's certainly not shy in getting forward, so he'll, before the end of the game, probably have a chance.
He's got a rasp of a shot on him from what we've seen at Crystal Palace, and as I said, he is out of contract. I'm sure there'll be a fair few suitors having a look at Patrick Van Aanholt, certainly within the Premier League and maybe beyond. Throwing on that far side for Ukraine after some good defending on this occasion by Weghorst. Already got started yet in this second half, Ukraine. Do look to be pressing a little more though, not allowing the Dutch quite so much time on the ball. We see I had 6 minutes of this second half. We've yet to reach the dizzy heights and excitement of the opening 45 minutes. That's probably no surprise, really. I suspect Andrei Shevchenko had plenty to say at half-time to his Ukrainian side about trying to maybe cut down the space in which the Dutch were having to play. Here's Blint at the edge of the penalty area, looking to come forward. It's Euros game day on Talksport, 0-0 in the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. To the right, Timber, over halfway. He finds De Roon, or slips the ball down that right-hand side. Dumfries' ball across the box. Depay is coming in. Keeper gets a touch to Wijnaldum! Gigi Wijnaldum scores for the Netherlands. A wonderful taken goal from around about the edge of the penalty area. The keeper did well to palm the ball away from the cross, but Wijnaldum continues his wonderful goal-scoring streak. His 23rd for the Netherlands, the leading goal-scoring qualification, and he's got them off the mark at the Euros. Netherlands 1, Ukraine 0.
There's no doubt it's a deserved lead, and if they were going to score, it was going to come from one of the wide positions. It was De Vries down the right-hand side. It's not great defending from Michaelenko. He should have cut it out, but De Vries, when he's in space, has delivered a really teasing cross. The goalkeeper, Bushkan, who had an excellent first half, made several brilliant stops. This time can only palm it into the path of Wijnaldum, who calmly, coolly, 16 yards out, passes it into the back of the net. Fabulous finish from Wijnaldum, arriving late from midfield on the edge of the box, coolly slotting home. The Dutch are ahead, and deservedly so.
Well, I think they'll be disappointed that Sidorchuk hadn't tracked that run from Wijnaldum as he arrived at the edge of the penalty area. It's a wonderful finish though, and the resistance of the Ukrainians is finally broken, and it had to be that man, didn't it? Gigi Wijnaldum, as we mentioned earlier. It took him an age to score his first 10 goals in international football, but he's been on a goal-scoring spree recently with the responsibility of the captaincy as well. He just seems to be thriving upon it.
Absolutely, 23 goals now at international level. He was the top scorer in qualifying. Arriving late, he's got this licence to get forward. We know that De Roon and De Jong are the two sort of more natural holding midfielders. Wijnaldum's got the licence to go pretty much where he wants, go beyond the strikers, but he's also got that ability to arrive at the right time.
And we Liverpool fans up and down the country maybe just realising a little more of what they've lost. And he picks up the baton at PSG at the end of the championships, of course. I always thought very much he was an unsung hero in that title-winning midfield.
And I bet Ronald Koeman will be wishing he'd done a bit of business earlier as well, because he said it took sort of 3 or 4 weeks of negotiations with Barcelona. They were umming and ahhing. PSG came in, made a firm offer, and he's gone to PSG.
And, you know, 155 grand a week after tax is not bad, is it?
That's what Talksport are paying you, aren't they?
Yeah. It's £1.55. No, something like that. No, we can't complain. Here's that captain again. Been terrific so far for the Netherlands. He's driving them forward again. His link up with Depay once more, and now De Jong. Down this left-hand side is Van Aanholt. Here's Wijnaldum again. Depay at the edge of the penalty area, lays it off to Weghorst, who tries to get the shot away, and it's took a deflection and is saved by Bushkan quite comfortably in front of his face.
Right, it's Depay again, just drifting off the centre halves into that number 10 position, but in between the back four and the midfield four, in space on the half turn. Looked actually to play a little 1-2 if he could with Weghorst. Weghorst decided differently. He wanted to have a little touch and get the shot away himself. Reasonably comfortable save for Bushkan.
Haven't won this tournament since 1988, of course. It's their only kind of major trophy. The Dutch, Weghorst here, the offside flag is up. It's a lovely ball that slipped him through, but he was slightly offside, as we mentioned. Winners in 88, of course, got to the semi-finals 4 times. And going forward, they look an exciting side. There's a bit of a slip-up, and you can see the error that was made, I think, by Michaelenko on that left-hand side. It was his error that allowed the ball to come through to Dumfries. And now, though, Ukraine looking to work their way back with Yarmolenko here down this right-hand side. Just made that a little bit difficult that time for Kadavayev, but he'll give it back to Yarmolenko on his left foot, bends a ball in, has to be headed up in the air by Timber, who did well. Zinchenko at the edge of the box on the left-hand side, looking to get it across into the area for Marlos, but it's well cleared. Patient build-up from Ukraine as they look to try and work their way back into this game because they trail by 1-0.
Well, they've got to show more ambition because they've been happy just to play on the counter, be defensive, be organised. When the opportunity arises, can we break at the Dutch? But they've been second best for the majority of the game, and now they have to show a bit more ambition. Shevchenko may have to change it.
Malinovsky at the edge of his own penalty area, immediately closed down by Depay and De Jong, and he's gone back inside his own box, and he's ended up giving away possession here to Wijnaldum, 25 yards out. Here's Depay, back to Wijnaldum, the goal scorer again. And Depay at the centre of everything good for the Dutch, dinks the ball through down this near side to try and pick out the run that had been made by Van Arnholt, but Ukraine can get it away, but that's just lost by Marlos. Too easy. De Jong with a little flick. Weghorst into Wijnaldum, who could have played one more onto Dumfries, but instead he's running towards the edge of the penalty area again. De Jong wants a foul at the edge of the D, but the referee waves it away, and De Rome will put it into touch on the far side for a Ukrainian throw. We've had 12 minutes of the second half. Netherlands 1, Ukraine 0 on Talksport.
I'll tell you what there has been from the Dutch is a relentless high press. When they've lost the ball, there's been a real determination to win it back, and very quickly.
Once more, it won't surprise you that Wijnaldum has possession for the Dutch. Deep inside the Ukraine half. Here's De Jong inside the penalty area. Edge of the box, tries to tee it up for Depay. Well, that's play acting. I mean, I think you get a yellow card for that probably in the Premier League. Right at the edge of the box. Hardly any, if any, contact at all, and he's gone down like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, Felix Bitsch has been pretty strong, the referee.
De Vries here on that far side. He's committed a foul. Has he the shot and the goal? Well, the referee looked like he was going to blow his whistle, but he didn't. And it's been put in by Weghorst, and it's 2-0 to the Dutch. Well, it looked like a foul when De Vries was coming in. De Vries was coming into the penalty area. It looked like they'd stopped. The Ukrainians had stopped, but the referee said play on, and Weghorst finishes past Bushkan, and he doubles the Dutch advantage. It's Netherlands 2, Ukraine 0.
Well, the Ukrainians are absolutely furious. No doubt this will be checked. Bushkan straight away, as soon as the ball hit the back of the net, he was absolutely adamant that it was a free kick by De Vries. Weghorst was quickest to respond to the loose ball. He smashed it home. He certainly wasn't waiting for the whistle. He smashes it into the back of the net, doubles the Dutch advantage. But Bushkan, as soon as that ball went in, he was up, remonstrating with Felix Bitsch, the referee.
Dumfries as well is absolutely right in front of him in what would probably be an offside position too. The referee is, I think, waiting for some instruction from Marco Fritz, who is the lead VAR official, as I mentioned earlier. Lee Betts and Stuart Atwell amongst his assistants in Switzerland.
Well, it's Michaelenko, the man that goes down. It's been a real battle actually between De Vries and Michaelenko all game. De Vries has had the better of it, as he got the better of him here as well. The goal check's still going on. We wait.
Well, Michaelenko, of course, was the one who was distraught after the first goal in the view, and the question here, I think, is whether that's whether he's impeding the goalkeeper. And I think the referee, we're just looking at the replay now, but you can hear from the cheers, the goal stands, and it's 2-0 to the Dutch.
Well, it wasn't probably enough contact, was there, to bring Michaelenko to ground. The offside decision, was he interfering? Well, I think there was a defender that was playing him onside, so they've probably got it right. There's no more than the Dutch deserve. They've been the better side. We've seen a couple of teams lay down markers already in this competition. Italy outstanding, Belgium very good. England were decent today. This has been a really classy performance from the Dutch as well.
Wout Weghorst with his second international goal for the Netherlands, and they lead here by 2-0. And well, this could be one of those games, unless Ukraine can get themselves back in it swiftly, where potentially the Dutch could end up running riot here. We're just gone the hour mark on Talksport. It's Euro game day, and it's 2-0 to the Dutch and a free kick just inside the Dutch half for Ukraine.
Well, I've been enjoying this game so much. I hope now that the Dutch continue playing this way and continue playing on the front foot and trying to score more goals, like the Italians did actually on the opening night, where they were relentless. They just kept pouring forward. This has been such a good game, and I just hope they continue to play the same way.
Well, they've won 4 of that Euro openers in the past, have the Dutch, and they've only scored more than one now on 2 occasions. They beat Italy back in 2008 by 3-0. They're 2 up here against Ukraine, and Ukraine need to find a way back into this game, and they need to do it swiftly. There's a free kick here for a foul on Frankie de Jong, about 7 or 8 yards outside the Dutch penalty area. Oh, what a game this has been. Plenty more coming your way, of course. Every game from the Euros is live across the Talksport network tomorrow afternoon. We've already seen Wales, we've seen England. Now it's time, after that long wait, for the Scots to join in the fray against the Czech Republic. A few Czech Republic players, of course, you'll be familiar with as well. I did hear Stuart Pearce earlier talking about how he thinks that potentially Thomas Souček and Soufal could cause problems for Scotland tomorrow. A true Englishman laying down the marker there. But that game tomorrow afternoon kicks off at 2. We're live at Hampden. Jim White's in the chair. Commentary from Alex Crook and Chris Iwelumo. Over on Talksport 2 later in the day at 5, it's Poland against Slovakia, and then Spain against Sweden at this time tomorrow night. Jim Proudfoot will be here alongside the man alongside me right now, Matt Holland. We've just seen the VAR check. It was for offside. So, and he was onside.
He was onside. It was Zabani who was playing him onside.
They'd all stopped, assuming the foul was going to come. I thought the foul was going to come. He looked like he was about to blow his whistle, to be fair, but he decided not in the end. And it's 2-0 to the Dutch. De Jong now trying to drive forward and make it 3 as he slips the ball through from the edge of the penalty area, but an important foot on the end of that time from Karavayev puts it out of play. Otherwise Van Aanholt would have been in a good crossing position.
Well, Shevchenko looks shell-shocked. He can't believe what's happened. 2 quick-fire goals at the start of the second half put the Dutch in command, who are going to make a couple of changes as well, the Dutch. But they've been so impressive. So many players have caught the eye. Frankie de Jong, especially in midfield, has been superb.
Daley Blind, of course, has just come back from injury. He's going to be replaced by Nathan Ake, who will slot in to that back 3, and we're also going to see Wijndal replacing Patrick Van Aanholt. So 2 early changes, and a big hug from Ruud van Nistelrooy for Daley Blind. A couple of changes for the Dutch then in the ascendancy here on Talksport. 18.5 minutes gone in the second half. They lead by 2-0, and they have a corner down this left-hand side. Well,
Wijndal would have been disappointed not to have started the game. I think many of us thought that he would have got the nod. It was Patrick Van Aanholt that did.
Well, the change for Ukraine as well, and the substitutes being substituted. Marlos is off. Shaparenko is going to enter the fray. Not too often that you come on as a first half sub and get subbed off early in the second half, is it? Well, fitness appears to be an issue, isn't it?
He's not giving any protection to Michaelenko at all.
Oh, a lovely ball swung in from Depay, and Ake with his first touch almost got the 3rd goal for the Dutch, but Ukraine have got it clear, but only as far as De Jong inside the centre circle. De Jong with possession again, and De Vrij is back. Ake back in position. That would have been some introduction for Nathan Ake,
wouldn't it? Just what a great ball in as well from the corner kick. Slight change. Zinchenko's gone to that left forward position there. Now he will help defensively, surely, with De Vries attacking down that right hand side.
I think it's fair to say that Yarmolenko looks a little exhausted. I think there's no doubt about that. He always has this kind of gait on him at this point of the game. They've been playing for on 65 minutes. Looks a little weary, and his side looking weary as well. They trail by 2-0. The player who's come on is Mykola Shaparenko. Plays in centre mid usually for Dynamo Kiev. He's been featured in the Champions League and the Europa League for them this season. Does like to dictate things for this Ukrainian side, so I think clearly Andrei Shevchenko just trying to get a little more structured play into this game for Ukraine as they try and find their way back.
Well, they've got to get a foothold in the game, they've got to get the ball. Dutch have totally dominated possession, and Ukraine are struggling to get out, struggling to create anything going forward in the second half. First half they caused problems on the counter, not being the case at all in the second half. They haven't been able to get Yarmolenko into the game.
Under pressure, Stecklenburg will clear from the edge of his 6-yard box. He was being closed down by Malinovsky, and there's a foul and a free kick for the challenge on Wout van Aert, the scorer of the second goal for the Dutch. Just a bit of hand-holding going on there on this occasion by Matvienko, and the free kick inside the centre circle. I mean, we talked before the game about how far the Dutch can go. No one sees them as potential winners, Matt, but what would be a good result for Frank de Boer, bearing in mind everything we said pre-game about his managerial career and where the Dutch have been?
Well, he said that the Dutch have got the mentality that they're one of the teams that can go on and win it. I don't think they're quite good enough, because I think defensively they'll give you a chance. Against the better sides, I think they'll come unstuck. Tonight, Ukraine have, especially in that first half, caused a lot of problems down the right-hand side. I think if they got to the quarter-finals, semi-finals, I think that would be seen as a good result, particularly after missing the last two major tournaments.
Ranked 16th in the world right now by FIFA. Ukraine are ranked 24th. And that probably shows the disparity between these two. Ukraine had a wretched 2020 in all. Their fixtures wasn't the best from Shevchenko in his coaching capacity, but certainly they've picked up. As we mentioned, though, a really good draw against the French. 1-1 in Paris, as that shot comes in from Malinovsky. Not seen enough of him really for Ukraine. He's such a key player for Atalanta in Serie A. You would look to him to transform that form into this Ukrainian side.
Actually, some of their bigger names haven't turned up really, have they? Zinchenko's not seen a lot of the ball. He's not influenced the game. You mentioned Malinovsky. He's someone I really like, a cultured midfield player, likes to get on the ball. He can break the lines with his passing, but hasn't been on it enough.
This man's been on it plenty. Memphis Depay gives it short to De Jong, about 10 yards inside Ukrainian territory. Foul on De Jong there. And he wants one. I think the referee says no, and it's going to be a throw into Ukraine down this near side. De Jong is rolling around and picking up a nice white trim from the sidelines. Got a bit of ball second time.
Yeah, but he got plenty of the man first time. That's a foul. And he just protected the ball there. Frenkie de Jong was caught from the behind, and that really should have been a free kick. Been very lenient, Felix Brych.
Well, I think there's still some issues going on here.
No, it's foul throw. He's given a foul throw. It slipped out of his hand, I think, onto the pitch, and he's given a foul throw.
It's not the first time that's happened, but he let it go last time. On this occasion, though, the Dutch are the recipients of the slip by Ukraine. He's been quietly confident tonight. Stefan de Vrij, just 29 years of age, of course. He's become the senior man now that Daley Blind has departed in that back three. Had a terrific year with Inter, as we mentioned. Hasn't scored for since 2015 for the Dutch. His record's not the best as a big towering centre half. Here they come again, though, maybe with an opportunity here as Van Dow swings that one across and it's straight out of play for a throw on the far side.
I'll tell you what, as a midfield player, you can break the lines with a pass, but you can break the lines as well by taking someone on with quality, and Frenkie de Jong's just done it again. He's just drifted past two midfield players before picking out Wijnaldum on his left-hand side, and the Dutch were away again.
Used to the stadium, of course, when he played at Ajax before his move to Barcelona for big money. Not been the easiest time at Barca for him, but we've seen his real quality tonight, that's for sure. And it's certainly that midfield too. I think De Roon has been a bit quiet tonight, but it allows the licence for Wijnaldum and De Jong to play in the manner that they have, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, He's not technically as good as those two. He's probably one of the least technically gifted players in this Dutch setup, but you need a mixture of all types of players, and he offers balance to that midfield the way he plays.
Good work by Dumfries on the right hand side. He's won his team a corner here, and it's going to be swung in by Depay. He's looking for Ake, who was at the edge of the box, but it's out and beyond him, and Wijndal will pick up possession once more. De Roo to the right, where he finds De Jong. Depay is on that far touchline. De Jong, though, goes for the diagonal out to the left-hand side. Wijndal with a chance to run here down the left-hand touchline. Tries to get the crossing, comes back to him off the deflection. Now he's inside the box, but he's just held off and manages to get it clear down this near touchline with the help of Malinovsky. And Ukraine can break, potentially, up to halfway, where it's picked up by Yaremchuk. But he's given away possession here. There's an eager bit of running in that midfield area from De Vrij. The centre half is Depay. He's got De Vrij outside him. Depay, though, just loses out possession once more to Sidorchuk. And again, they've given it away here, Ukraine, but they picked it up at the second attempt. And now an opportunity to drive forward, maybe. It's Shaparenko, the substitute, who switches play out to this near side, where he picks up Yarmolenko, who's got some support arriving down this right-hand touchline. Yarmolenko looking to cut in on that favoured left foot of his. He does, to the edge of the penalty area, where it's Malinovsky, and now Zinchenko, and it's wide once more out to that left-hand side for Shaparenko. Back to Zinchenko at the edge of the penalty area. Ukraine trying to find a way back into this game. Anything, maybe just a shot will do, and they get one in the end. Comfortably saved by Stecklenburg, but it was on target for Yaremchuk.
Best period of possession the whole game, actually, from Ukraine. Eventually Yaremchuk gets on the half turn, gets his swivel and gets his shot away straight out the goalkeeper. It was a comfortable save for Stecklenburg. Just a great example there of why De Roo is so valuable, actually, to this Dutch team. The Dutch back three, when they've had the chance, have tried to step into midfield, either to win the ball back or to try and take advantage of space. Well, De Vrij got caught right up the pitch. De Roo recognised that, just filled in for him. So when Ukraine did pick up possession, they were still a back three. It wasn't a problem.
We talked about the first half flying by. We've had 27.5 minutes of this second half already. Netherlands leading here on Talksport by 2-0 over Ukraine. We've mentioned Monday's games. Tuesday we've got Hungary against Portugal, which should be a cracker as the reigning champions enter the fray. And then after that, the world champions are in action against Germany. Yep, it is the group of death. Hungary, Portugal, France and Germany. And I don't think Hungary are going to be a pushover, particularly as they're going to be playing at home, of course, in Budapest. And that opening fixture against Portugal is there.
I saw them actually against Ireland in their last warm-up. Wasn't a lot in the game. They probably just edged it. Slightly the better side. It finished 0-0.
And coming in fairly good form, and they don't lose at home very often either, which may be a helping hand in this instance.
I think they are. I think they're 10 or 11 unbeaten now coming into the tournament.
De Jong infield to Wijnaldum. Holds off a couple of challenges, just so busy. Gini Wijnaldum all the time. Oh, Depay just tries to slip and turn. No foul, says the referee. I think he just got a little tug on the arm, or he felt he had, from Zabani on that occasion. He's had a tough night for a youngster. As we mentioned, here's Depay again towards the edge of the penalty area. This time he is dispossessed, and it's Zinchenko, 10 yards outside his own box. Now coming forward is Sidorchuk, up towards halfway. They keep possession this time, Ukraine. Infield it goes to Malinovsky. Malinovsky down the centre, running here with some purpose. Zinchenko, he's got support wide on the left, but instead he goes to a more central area. And then he finds Yarmolenko on this right-hand side, who is immediately looking to cut onto that left foot of his. Instead, this time he releases the ball, comes back to Yarmolenko, edge of the box on the left foot bend! Oh, what a goal from Andrei Yarmolenko! And Ukraine are back in this one! His 41st international goal, and time again he cuts in from that right-hand side onto that left foot of his. He sent that way out beyond the far post, and he's curled it into the top corner beyond Stecklenburg. Yarmolenko pulls Ukraine back into this game. Netherlands 2, Ukraine 1.
Well, it looked done and dusted this game. The Dutch in total control. Ukraine barely threatened in this second half. But that man Yarmolenko, with a bit of magic, has given themselves a chance. He's allowed to come inside. We said don't show him inside on his left foot. He's got such great ability. They do. They allow him to come in. He curls it past Stekelenburg, who's got absolutely no chance. He's looked tired, Yarmolenko. He's had a tough season, lots of injuries, but he has come up with a bit of magic that has given Ukraine hope. What a goal that was.
His 7th start in the Euros and his first goal in the competition. Oh, and he's gone down now. Immediately after, there's going to be a free kick. I think De Jong with a challenge. But what a goal from Yarmolenko. I mean, when you see the replay of that as well, he bends it out way beyond the far post. And it's over Stekelenburg's head as well. In his top corner, as someone we very well know, Mr. Brazil says, you just don't save those, do you?
Top corner, top draw. It really was out the top draw.
Well, Zinchenko now sniffing the ball through. Ake has to come across. Well, the Dutch made those changes and maybe thinking they felt quite comfortable at 2-0. But as we know, it's a dangerous scoreline. And Ukraine are back in this game. And we're in for an enthralling final 14 minutes here on Talksport. Netherlands 2, Ukraine 1. And the ball is at the feet of Stekelenburg away to our right-hand side. I mean, the celebration's probably the fact they've actually scored a goal in the Euros, which is the first time in 5 games. This is their 6th. Here's Wijnaldum, though, on the run down this left-hand side. Chance maybe for Wijndal to put a decent ball in here. Instead, he just overran it a little, holds the ball up and gives it to Wijnaldum down this left-hand touchline. Infield to Ake, 30 yards from goal. Here's Depay. He's got work to do still, Memphis Depay. May have thought he'd done enough in this game. To the right-hand side he goes. Timber out on that right-hand side to De Jong. Angle of the penalty area. De Jong back into De Roon. Now it's Ake, 35 yards out. Now 25 yards out, strikes one. Blocked inside the penalty area. And blocked well on this occasion by Zabani. It's up in the air at the edge of the box. And they're trying to fight for a ball there. Karavayev and Weghorst as well. And now they'll try to break. And now they can break down that left-hand side. Here comes Shaparenko over halfway into Yaremchuk. 10 yards inside the Dutch half. He's tracked all the way though by Timber, and he puts the ball out of play.
Well, we're in for an absolutely fascinating last 12 or 13 minutes or so. You know, Yarmolenko, he can barely break into a jog. He looks absolutely shattered, but you give him half a chance, and that left foot, and he can produce.
Zinchenko is down, a foul, and this time that's by Stefan de Vrij. I think it was a foul. He's arguing with the referee that he didn't touch him, but there's clearly plenty of contact there. 12 minutes remaining here on Talksport. Adam Bridge and Matt Holland bringing you the game from the Johan Cruyff Arena in southeastern Amsterdam. Of course, London-based due to the COVID restrictions regarding travel. I don't think that's impacting on what is a stunningly brilliant game of football so far. And we could have a fantastic finale to come with 12 minutes remaining. Here's the free kick. And the substitute is over it. Shaparenko swung in and the header, it's 2-2! Yaremchuk, the goal scorer! What a comeback from Ukraine! The Dutch thought they were out of sight with that double delight, but Yaremchuk has followed up on Yarmolenko's goal. And Ukraine, who hadn't scored in 5 previous Euro games, they haven't got 1, they've got 2. It's the Netherlands 2, Ukraine 2.
Well, this is absolutely incredible. It's been a dominant Dutch display. They've been absolutely outstanding, and it's unravelled. 2 quick-fire goals from Ukraine. Yaremchuk guides it past Stekelenburg. It's a wonderful header. The Dutch are looking for the offside flag. He's 2 yards on. He just gets beyond the last man, guides it into the corner. What a story, what a game.
That's a 9th goal in internationals from Roman Yaremchuk, and they looked down and out at 2-0 down. Absolutely, they looked beaten. The Dutch were in complete control of this game, but a bit of magic from Yarmolenko and a cracking header from Yaremchuk, and all of a sudden it's 2-2, and Dutch delight has turned to Dutch despair.
Well, I'm rubbing my eyes at the scoreline. I can't quite believe that Ukraine have got themselves on level terms. The Dutch seemed in absolute control. Wondered how many it would be when they scored the second. Ukraine have fought their way back in. Started with the skipper, Yarmolenko. And Yaremchuk has brought them level. I'll tell you, it was a great ball into the box. I think it was Malinovsky.
Yep, there was two of them over it, but Malinovsky decided he was going to deliver, and Yaremchuk with a cracking header. It really was. 2-2. Well, can we find a winner in this game? 10 minutes remaining. Plenty of time here on Talksport. The Dutch have possession. Down wide to that right-hand side. It's picked out again by Dumfries. Daron. Here's Timber trying to come forward. Timber moving into a dangerous area here, 25-30 yards from goal. Finds Ake, still continuing to press. Vindal. Back to Ake again down this left-hand side. Now here's Timber once more, one of the centre-halves. Ake, of course, the other centre-half. Daron. De Vrij is the only one that's back at the moment. Here's Wijnaldum, level with the penalty spot on that far side, the right. Just working his way away from Shaparenko. And the ball spins out of play, and it will be a goal kick to Ukraine away to our left-hand side.
They'll pick a winner now, 10 minutes to go. Ukraine have fought themselves back into this game. The Dutch can't quite believe what's happened. Such a fantastic game it's been, and an intriguing last 10 minutes that we've got in store.
They have a habit of pulling out draws. They are unbeaten in 2021 so far, Ukraine. They did draw, I think, the first 4 matches of the year. Finland, Kazakhstan, Bahrain amongst those. A couple of wins in the lead up to the tournament against Northern Ireland, and a convincing victory over Cyprus as well. But they've got themselves back to 2-2. Unbelievably. Terrific game of football. Game of the Euros so far, I think there's no doubt about that. And De Vrij goes back to his keeper, Stecklenburg, at the edge of the penalty area, who really could do nothing about either goal.
Absolutely not. I mean, game of the tournament, I don't think there's any doubt about that. It was game of the tournament at half-time, and it was 0-0 at half-time. It was a pulsating first half, breathless first half, and the second half hasn't disappointed either.
One of those you're happy if it doesn't end, really. 7.5 minutes remaining. 2-2 on Talksport. Tomorrow, well, let's hope we bring you as much drama. Scotland against the Czech Republic is live, 2 o'clock kickoff. All the build-up throughout the morning, of course. Don't forget, we've got the Euro breakfast as well. Laura Woods will be with you from 6 o'clock in the morning. Won't just be talking England, they'll be looking ahead to the Scotland game as well. Looking back on Wales, and I suspect maybe looking back on this game tonight as well. We've got you covered for your Euros across the day throughout the Talksport network. So with Scotland, Czech Republic tomorrow, followed by Poland against Slovakia on Talksport 2. That's your 5 o'clock kickoff, and back here tomorrow night for what could be another cracker as well. Spain against Sweden. Spain with all of their COVID-related issues as well. Jim and Matt will be with you for that one tomorrow night, and of course we are live inside Hampden tomorrow afternoon as well. Jim White very, very excited ahead of Scotland's debut in the competition. There's a free kick here, which has gone the way of the Dutch. Taken short. Ake has it. They are 10 yards inside the Ukrainian half. We've got 6.5 minutes remaining. Out to the left-hand side. Ake has possession. Goes right where he finds Daron. On that far side is Dumfries. Midway inside Ukrainian territory. Just forced back to Daron. Still patiently trying to probe their way through here, the Dutch. Timber finds De Jong again. To the left is Ake. To the right once more is Daron. And also Dumfries as well. Wijnaldum just makes himself available in a pocket of space, but De Jong instead has possession. He'll go towards the edge of the penalty area. And again, Denzel Dumfries on that right-hand side provides an outlet, but then just pops it back inside once more. They look for the width and then they come back inside. That's not the best of clearances by Bushkan, though. He's given it to Vindal down the left-hand side. Here's Ake. Ake left-footed. Swings one towards the back post. Header and in! It's a third goal for the Dutch! And who else but Denzel Dumfries? He missed an absolute sitter in the first half, but he's nailed this one. A terrific header down and beyond the despairing dive of Georgi Bushkan in the Ukrainian goal. There's tears amongst the Ukrainians. There's rage amongst the Ukrainians. but Denzel Dumfries with his first goal for the Dutch. And having been 2 up and then pegged back, they've got themselves in front again. Netherlands 3, Ukraine 2.
I was just about to say that Shevchenko, with that little tactical switch of putting Zinchenko on the left-hand side, had negated the threat of Denzel Dumfries. But he gets across Zinchenko, powers his header. Bushkan will be thinking he might have saved it, got a hand on it, couldn't keep it out. He missed a sitter in the first half when he had plenty of time to think about it. He didn't have as much time to think about this one. He powered his header low. Bushkan got a little hand on it, couldn't keep it out. Zinchenko's angry with himself. He knows he should have done better. The Dutch 2-0 up, pegged back to 2-2, and now, with less than 5 minutes to go, they find themselves back in front. What a game.
Extraordinary game of football. And who knows what awaits in the final 5 minutes. De Jong coming forward down that right-hand side. We said it earlier, they score goals. The Dutch are scoring goals for fun at the moment. The last 7 games, there'll be 8 games in a row now. They've scored more than 2 goals, but they do concede them as well, as we've seen tonight. I mean, again, it's another cracking header from Denzel Dumfries. Not scored for his country before. Was probably playing that chance in the first half over and over again in his mind at half-time, but he's righted that wrong.
Well, he's going to make the headlines now. I said when he missed that chance, he would have been thinking about the headlines in the papers the next day. Well, he can enjoy reading those headlines tomorrow if it stays like this.
I think we can safely say the Euros have well and truly begun tonight in terms of the feast of football. We've got just over 3 minutes remaining here on Talksport. Netherlands 3, Ukraine 2. The Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam is jumping. There's no doubt about that.
I've had so much excitement about this tournament. I was so excited to do my first game, and wow, this couldn't have been any better, could it? What a game we've seen.
We're going to see another couple of changes here for the Dutch. We're going to see the introduction of the Brighton fullback Joel Veltman. He's going to enter the fray, and I think he's also going to be joined by the other De Jong. Luc De Jong is coming on. Without Weghorst, the scorer of the second Dutch goal, is one of those who departs for the final few minutes. Again, just a disruption tactic here from De Boer, and it's Jurien Timber who's going to depart, the youngster replaced by Veltman.
I've been really impressed with Timber. For someone so young, so inexperienced, to be thrown in at this level, his composure on the ball, his ability to know when to step in, I think he's had an outstanding game.
Such frustration amongst the Ukrainians, and well, you can see why. With all 3 of the goals, I think they feel they probably had an opportunity to disrupt or maybe cut out sooner and stop them happening, but maybe there's time for them. We're into the final 2 minutes here on Talksport. 3-2 the Dutch lead. 2 up they were, pegged back to 2-2. And then Denzel Dumfries could be the Dutch hero tonight. Here's Depay down this left-hand side. Back to Frankie de Jong. I suppose they ought to start using first names now they're both on the field. Back to halfway, it's Ake. Picked up by De Vrij. Out to that right-hand side. Veltman just lets it run across him and then lifts the ball down the touchline where he finds Luc de Jong, who gets a flick on it, but it's going to go all the way back to Bushkan inside the Ukrainian goal. We're into the last minute of normal time. 3-2 the Dutch lead. Hear the drums banging in the Johan Cruyff Arena. There'll be some party in Amsterdam tonight, probably socially distanced, I hope. Down that left-hand side, Ukraine come forward. Huge game to have on home soil, the weight of the Netherlands on their shoulders, and they may well have just pulled this one out the fire. Inside the centre circle, Ukraine have possession. It's at the feet of Matvienko. Forward it comes towards Zinchenko now. He was the one who was most furious, I think, as that ball hit the back of the net. He's got Yarmolenko outside him here, Zinchenko, but he seems to be going alone. He's got 2 up against him. He finds Yarmolenko. Now to Zinchenko again. He's closed down very quickly on this near side by Wijndal, and that's really good from the Dutch. They get the throw-in as we enter time added on at the end of this game.
And what a game. What a gripping, dramatic, fantastic game of football we've seen. Memphis Depay, the latest Dutch substitution.
And he's going to be replaced by Donyell Malen, 22 years of age. Went to Arsenal for a couple of seasons in the youth, but ended up back at Ajax. He's one of those players who would have missed the tournament last season as well, having been injured in 2020. It's a free kick here for the Dutch, just short of halfway, and I'm fairly sure they'll probably make the most of this delay.
Yeah, there won't be in a rush to take it. I'm not sure that Frenkie de Jong will be getting up pretty quickly either. Just about making his way back to his feet now.
High fives all round for Memphis Depay as he reaches the Dutch bench in Amsterdam. And no surprise, terrific performance from him. We've already had a minute of added time. Due to the timing of that substitution, we didn't get the chance to see the board from the fourth official as to how many minutes have been signalled, but it's 5, we understand. And out wide on that right-hand side is the goal scorer, Dumfries again. Giving it short infield to Frenkie de Jong. Got some help on that far side again by Malen. Dumfries is closed down and is under pressure from a combination, and Zinchenko's trying to get there. He's ended up on his backside but still had the ball, but now here come Ukraine out with an opportunity maybe. They try to break through the centre, wide on this right hand side, in some space. Karavayev with an opportunity to get it in early towards Yarmolenko, who just dummies it, but he was dumming it to Yaremchuk, who was running in the opposite direction, unfortunately, and the Dutch can get it away. We've had 2 minutes of the 5 that have been added on. There's a foul, and there's going to be a card there as well, and the yellow card is going to be shown to Sergej Soborchek, just for the body check, away off the ball, but the referee saw it on Luc de Jong, and that's going to be a free kick.
Well, it's perfect for the Dutch, isn't it? Free kick deep into the opposition half, a little pull on de Jong. He went down fairly easily. I'd have been furious actually as a Dutch player at Donyell Malen as well, because he started to drift inside. He's got pace, run it to the corner, just keep it in the corner. Don't need to do anything now, nothing heroic, just need to keep the ball and keep it in the opposition half.
The ball was moving then as de Jong went to take the free kick. As we head towards the final 2 minutes of added time in Amsterdam. 3-2 the Dutch lead on Talksport. Here's Wijnaldum out wide on this left hand side. And it's going to take their time about this now, as you would do. Wijndal again finds De Roon. Veltman lifts it early towards the edge of the penalty area, where Luc de Jong gets the flick on. He was trying to pick out Malen on that left hand side. He's done really well though, because he managed to get there this time ahead of Mykolenko, who's had a tough night.
Good pressure without the ball again from the Dutch. As soon as they lose it, they are quick to react and try and win it back. It's not too often Ukraine have had the quality to break through that press.
Well, it's going to be heartbreak for Ukraine. There'll be 12,000 or so of the Dutch spilling out of this Johan Cruyff Arena tonight, with big smiles on their faces and probably trying to find a bar that's still open.
I think on balance it's probably the right result. The Dutch have deserved to win the game.
Denzel Dumfries on that far side is losing out on this occasion once more to Mykolenko, who's just taking a breather before he tries to launch this throw forward. Don't take too long, mate, we're in the final minute of added time. There's no time for hand on hips. Are you aware actually how long is being added and how long you've got? Or here are the Dutch at the edge of the penalty area. Maybe this time Malen will go to that far corner. He's got 3 round him. He goes down very easily. Yaremchuk with the challenge. Ukraine trying to form some kind of breakaway, but the Dutch have got plenty back, and De Vrij will just lift it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Luc de Jong is there. He knocks it down to Wijndal. Wijndal, 25 yards from goal, will just hold that ball up nicely. We're into the final 10 seconds or so of the 5 added minutes. The Dutch down this left hand side just holding the ball up, getting that ball on halfway. Ake's there, and they've kept it really nicely in the last couple of minutes. And at that point, the referee puts his whistle to his lips and blows the final whistle. And it is opening game Dutch delight for Frank de Boer and the Netherlands, but only just. Having looked to be cruising with a 2-goal advantage, they were pegged back by 2 wonderful strikes from Ukraine. But in the end, the man that could have been the villain in the first half, Denzel Dumfries, with the winning header to give all 3 points, and probably well deserved to Netherlands. Ukrainian players fall to their knees on the pitch, and that's no great surprise. They've given it all. A wonderful goal from Yarmolenko as well. They've contributed to the game of the tournament so far. A wonderful spectacle in the Johan Cruyff Arena, but it's the Dutch who come out on top. It's finished here. Netherlands 3, Ukraine 2.